would have came in for me, that would have been planned. You would have put me on. You ain't say, oh, I'm coming this day, I'm coming this day. You sit here and you tell me one thing, and you always do another. Cause let me know. Let me tell you why. Cause you're not a man of your word. That's the reason why. So let's talk about it. Oh, you come here for nothing. No, you came here for whoever you came here for. So whatever. You have no type of communication at all. So get up on my time, man.
Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice. No, I'm gon' ball, yeah. No way I can fall, yeah. They predict the next fall, yeah. Look at them like, oh, yeah. Talk to me. Talk to me nice.
Talk to me like you got some motherfucking sense, goddammit. You done lost your mind. What you thought this was? Triggering. So exhausting. So exhausting. Just listening to it. So exhausting. So exhausting. Hi, everybody. Welcome to your weekend episode of Just a Dope ass podcast. I am one half of your illustrious duo, King Carter, aka my real shit, DC, but whatever. to my right.
I appreciate that, you cut the showmanship on for you split, you already just split him in half. You went like full Superman and then back to Clark. That was like super. Like,
hey, you have to do that sometimes.
Hey, welcome to Barnum. It's also me. Oh, hi. It's me, DJ. Chad Osman. I don't know if I switch like this, so
we both do.
I gotta work on my shit, man.
I'm sure we have our moments, but yes, one half of the duo, King Carter, as you can see to my right, my co-host, the original 3B himself, black, bald, and beautiful, Chad Osman.
That's trifecta, folks.
That's right.
Boom.
That's right. Or bold, buff, black.
It's a lot, man.
It's a lot of B's that you can throw in there.
Trinities is what matters. You guys like those angel numbers and shit, so you know.
It comes in threes, or it could be in the realm of what we started today's show off with. You know, the type of somebody talking to you like that, and it's just terrible communication. The 3 B's could be, bitch, be better. Be better. Because I refuse. How dare you?
I like this, man. Your clip is full. Fucking let it go. Yes.
Hey, you know, we put a few in the chamber before we started. Just hi, everybody. Just, you know, I want to say hi in case you weren't like paying attention to what the fuck's going on around here.
I don't even know what just happened live.
I don't know what happened either. I saw an anime picture in the corner of my eye, and I was like, what the fuck's going on here? What happened? But thank you for joining us on this wonderful Saturday afternoon. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful week. Before we get started, we're going to give our flowers to the great Shock G.
Man.
3rd week in a row. It comes in threes. It always proves itself. But it's been a rough month for hip-hop within itself. Shout out to the Oakland legend himself. Another wonderful person behind the scenes that didn't get his flowers before his time was up, unfortunately. But we recognize you here, brother. He was more than just a Humpty Dance, you fucks. Go listen to Sex Packets.
I wish like it didn't take like fucking passing for things like that to happen. But like there's, you know, a lot of artists, you know, in the music, you know, whatever field you're in, you know people, and there's just been a lot of videos that are coming out of just like you see like his like musicianship, even him discussing like the flows between, you know, him and Nas and Biggie, and I was like, man, this is some real artistic shit. And I'm not trying to shit on nobody's generation, but it is refreshing to hear that, because it's like, man, you know, it's just you can apply that shit. I can apply that to this. Like, okay, man, if I'm gonna be like a legend or great, I gotta approach shit that I'm doing the way that he approached music. He like that nigga broke down, you know, hip hop and just how their cadences were like it was fucking like niggas talk about the Picasso, and it's like, oh shit, man, like I gotta up my shit. I gotta like, you know, look at, I don't know, my job, my studies, my fucking whatever, because that was just dope. And it's like, you know, some people might just, like you said, just know the Humpty Dance, and it's like, nah, man, this nigga was really an artist, because
he's really an artist, really creator, helped a lot of people behind the scenes, a lot of your favorite artists. He's worked with them, done some producing for them, and you would never know, because he wasn't, you know, they come from a time where you needed the whole record label and radio and all that other stuff. It's not the same as today, but you didn't get the media push that the top artists may have gotten. Also, shout out to this week we had the 420 special with Red and Meth. That was wonderful.
Also,
But
other motherfucking legends.
2 other people that they don't get their flowers as much as they should, but they do get more flowers than some other people to a degree.
Yeah.
They definitely need more because they were definitely, when it came to like our era for us, like the late 80s, early mid 90s, going into the 2000s, that's the best era of hip hop. Now, granted, hip hop hasn't been around that long, but that was the best era because we were the most lyrically talented, in my opinion. Like the before us, they were the most influential. They were the trendsetters. You know, they trailblazed for us.
Mm-hmm.
Our era had the most lyrical talent and ability. I think today's era music, I'll say they have the most gumption as far as going to get it themselves. I'm going to record it. I'm going to put it out. Like they're better with doing it on their own, so to speak. Maybe not becoming millionaires doing it, but they're more fearless as far as being innovative in ways to get their music out there.
I always compare our generation, like, of hip hop, like what we grew up on, like throughout high school and shit like that, to being like the Attitude Era in wrestling. Like I knew
Such a wonderful time.
Yeah, like I knew, like, you know. I know everybody in wrestling has their own persona and shit, but I'm sure there's some people that are interchangeable. But if you want a Stone Cold, you need a Stone Cold. If you wanted The Rock, you needed The Rock. Undertaker, Kane, so on and so forth. Undertaker and Kane, you know, had their little parallel thing, but they're 2 different characters.
Right.
Perfect. If I wanted, and I've fucking dug this goddamn point in the ground so many times, but if I wanted Ludacris, there is no such thing as like how some of these acts now, people always say they're interchangeable. They all sound the same. They all saying the same thing. Everybody was kind of saying the same thing back then, but if I want Guwap, gotta go to Guwap. Fucking Waka, I can't get that anywhere else. I can't get Ludacris anywhere else. I can't get shit. I can't get Nelly nowhere else but from that particular artist. So it was like, yo, man, you would have debates about who's the best fucking group. Is it Rockefeller, or is it motherfucking Rough Riders? Is it fucking, you know, like motherfuckers, you know, is it Terror Squad, or is it fucking
It was fucking Def Jam. They had their own video game. 3.
Even that, like, okay, even that, like, we talked about that before. I don't know how you put necessarily a video game now because they're not that. And this is the age of social media where you can really get your fucking personality out there. I still would want the old motherfuckers in there and motherfuckers that came right after them. Like, instead of having, I don't necessarily want little whoever the fuck, but put 50 Cent in there because I know that this is a different individual. So I feel like that was one thing about our era that was dope, that, you know, you had motherfuckers that were just, I'm doing 100% doing me, nigga. Like,
right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that got left behind in that regard. But I think one thing that kind of caught me when I was watching the Red and Meth thing was, like, Meth almost lost it when they were talking about DMX. Like, I could hear his voice crack, and he was very adamant about it. He kept saying it, but he's like, give me my flowers while I'm here. Because I can see him, like, my friends are dying. People that I came into the game with, people that I was cool with, people that didn't get the appreciation that they deserve, they are dying. And I recognize that I'm not getting the flowers that I deserve. Please give me my flowers before I die. And I could just hear that in his voice. And it hurts to hear that, especially as like this prominent black tough figure in our life. But it's like, no, they people.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes goes even back to what we said last week. There is like a element of, you know your worth. But you just want to, but I don't feel like Meth was from a space of like, you know, some people are from a space of arrogance. That's what we talked about last week, arrogance and narcissism. But I think it's just like, I've done a lot. You know, art is something that you have to give of yourself. And it's like, you know, you want to feel love. The catch-22 is, you know, as bad and down as artists I feel like can feel, or creators or whatever you want to call ourselves now. It's like, if on the flip side, it's like, man, there's an overwhelming love going like, I made something, created it, fucking just from myself, whether it was like, you know, it's not like a kid, but people attribute that to be like, this is like having my little art baby.
Right.
So, you know, I want to feel love. I don't need you niggas to just, you know, throw money is cool, but it's like, it feels good to go like, shit, it feels good. Motherfuckers say, hey man, like the 3 or 4 of you guys to go like, yo man, we like what y'all was saying. Like that really, like, that feels good. It's like, okay, cool. Like that's enough, nigga. That's fuel. It's like, okay, I'm not just out here fucking spinning my wheels. And if for nothing else, over like, I don't even go to like, oh, I'm finna make money. It's like, damn, like, oh, I feel good with what I say. Like somebody understands me, like understanding. We're going there. But, you know,
I had the same thing. Even like during this past week, I think I had 3 clients that were like, yo, like, these sessions are fucking great. Like, I don't understand why people don't go to therapy. Like, I feel so much better being able to come here and discuss stuff. And they're telling me all this other stuff, but basically expressing appreciation. And they're like, damn, that makes me feel like I'm glad to hear that. And then hearing other therapists and supervision say the same, like they're happy to hear those things because it's rejuvenating for you when you burnt out or when you're tired or when you're not making the money that you would like to make or not making the money that somebody else makes doing some other bullshit that really doesn't matter, to be honest. And it's like hearing that from people of how you've affected them in a positive way, getting your flowers helps. Somebody being able to communicate effectively with you and let you know how they really feel about you and your situation, that can be rejuvenating for somebody even at their lowest moments. So the theme of the day is, how do you communicate in what is proper communication?
Bars. I can piggyback off that because, for all you out there, now we can get my business now because I feel good. Nigga got a little check. Getting a little check.
Get a little money.
But, I've been down for a year because pandemic and we work in the field where you kind of have to be personable. Me, on my particular journey, I'm still out here in the field and I do a lot of linkage and stuff. So it's a little bit like, they'll let me do a little bit of group work and shit like that. But it's a lot of life skills and stuff like that. And just tidbit for you guys that don't know, like it's a lot of like weird little like intersections and overlap in this mental health shit. Like it's like, do this but don't do this, and I'm like, you kind of have to do that to do this, but that's sidebar. Just want you guys to kind of know what people are doing and respect to all mental health workers at whatever level you are. But I do a lot of linkage, so I do a lot of like, you need this service, blah blah blah. So I've only really been doing this for like the past month, and I finally got like, I'm starting to put my caseload together and get my whatevers, and it was cool. Like the motherfuckers like are genuinely happy. Like, I work with a different population, so they're older and kind of like population you was working with, a lot of homeless, but they're now in the board and care and stuff. So I do go to all of the homes and all that other shit. Yeah, we're transparent to you guys. We're closer today. But I didn't think you underestimate the impact and just going in, kind of still tying into communication of you try not to, when you talk to them, you don't want to tell them the same things everybody else is doing. You don't want to be as intrusive. But motherfuckers like, hey, teacher, how you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm good. Like, how you doing? It's like, oh, man, thanks for fucking just stopping by the other day. Thanks for, and I'm in my mind, I'm like, I didn't really do shit except I just sat here, man. Some days I don't do a lot. I'm just going to sit here. You need to get your shit off, and I'm going to listen. I'm not going to judge. Do you want me to have, an opposing opinion? No, I want advice. I want whatever. Okay, cool. But, and just understand like, oh, you know what? That's also just ways of effective communication. And so that feels good. It all feels good, folks. We're here to feel good.
Right. Feel good. But even within that proper communication, it requires somebody, well, I can't even say somebody. It requires both parties to be vulnerable. Because within the vulnerability, that's where the boundaries are. That's where the request is. That's where the needs lie. And when you are able to let somebody else know that, you are able to get what it is that you are asking for. On the flip side, when you don't do those things and you're not communicating, you're expecting, that creates an interesting dynamic of which you let down yourself because you didn't effectively communicate, and now you're not receiving what it is that you need, and you are peeved.
Very peeved.
Very peeved. And it has nothing to do with me. I'm just, I'm responding to my own shit. I don't give a fuck. You be bad. That's on you. If you didn't communicate effectively with me and you didn't seek my counsel, as in like us navigating through this situation together, I don't really care if you're mad. You'll get over it.
So that kind of brings me back to when people talk about, what is good communication? Because once again, just tying this back into the field and in various spaces, I learned, and I know I feel like sometimes I battle myself to be like, okay, man, are you bringing just your personal knowledge? Or are you trying to turn like, intimate situations into like, it's not session, when I'm talking to friends, when romantic situations, you don't want to act like you fucking talking to a client, but even working with like, the autistic community, what I'm saying? You start to learn things like verbal fucking, communication is not really that. Like even the little charts that pull up, like I pulled up a chart, guys, we're doing things today.
Research. But
it's like, I just like the numbers of like 55% is body language. That's what really matters. 38% is voice and tone. 7% is like the spoken words. And, you sometimes see, and, taking shots is not taking shots, but just social media. I don't think sometimes people understand how much social media, like, really people like social media makes you feel like you want to be fat and it makes us want to change our bodies. Okay, cool, it does that, but to get to wanting to lay on the table, I think we misunderstand how much social media can adjust with small things like how you interact, how you talk, because communication is bigger than words. Sometimes people say, I said this, I said that, and you're not addressing for the tone you said it in, whether it's, people can pick up, especially if you're interacting with somebody, you're in a serious situation, that's your family member, that's whatever. I didn't say it in a hostile tone. You said it in a, you can sometimes, and sometimes this is projecting. So you have to kind of ask yourself for both sides, but it's like, you didn't say that in a mean tone, but you said that maybe condescending, or you can tell when somebody's trying to put it on thick. Body language, distance, feel, and that even, and don't even add in like the fucking spiritual part of the energy in this bitch is off. Like there's so many layers, and motherfuckers be like, you didn't communicate, and it's like, bro, y'all are just talking and saying words. Because on the other another part of it is like, I said this, but you got to understand like the flip side of communication is also listening. And why am I saying this to you? Like, am I talking to you to get my shit off? Like it's my favorite line, bro. Like, to get your shit off, and understanding like, is this from a space of insecurity? Am I really mad? Am I really like, because if you're talking to get your shit off, that's one thing. And sometimes you might just need it. I want to tell you how I feel. And then we should maybe lead us here, because nobody's in a space to listen and grow and make it a solution. Like, that's part of communication too. I communicated. No, you just vented, because you weren't really, it doesn't matter what is said in this, because you're hot right now. Like, so I feel like that's a part of communication people just really throw out the window. Like, we need to communicate. What space are you in when you communicating?
Well, do you understand what communication is? Is the main concept, not even just getting into styles. Mm-hmm. That's a whole nother conversation. But do you understand what communication is? Essentially, communication is anything that has the ability to affect somebody's interpretation, their perception, their perspective, their level of understanding, like anything that it can influence when it comes to their thought and their processing. That's communication. Physical, verbal, tone, pitch, situation, the environment, like all that stuff, like you said, is important. If you don't understand that all those things are important, then you're not effectively communicating. If I don't understand that you're pissed off right now, and it would probably be better to have this conversation with you in 5 minutes if we both step away and then come back, that contributes to proper or effective communication. If I'm just like, I'm mad, you mad, we going to sit here and yell at each other, you're not paying attention to communicating effectively, because I'm not realizing that this is not the proper environment for us. I'm not looking at your body language. I'm not paying attention and being mindful of my own body language. I'm just here vomiting. Yeah. Fucking Family Guy status. Everybody in the room is fucking vomiting, and nobody's doing shit about it. There's vomit everywhere, and it's making everybody vomit more. And it's just getting all kinds of messy and funky up in this bitch. And there's no solution to what's happening, which is also part of the communication. Like you said, solution is part of communication. If you don't want a solution, you don't want to communicate.
Yeah.
I don't have time to be no motherfucking punch bag. If you want to hit some shit and it not respond back, I can drop you off at the fucking gym. We can take it to LA Fitness right now, give you some gloves. You can knock on that bitch for the next 30 minutes, because it ain't going to hit back. But over here, there's some sort of reciprocation that has to happen for there to be effective communication. There's two parties. That means it needs to be an equal situation.
But that goes back to me always wondering, like, okay, man, it's not to say, like, I can get good mad. I can get good in this, and sometimes... And I've definitely like overdone it, but sometimes I'm just like, bro, it makes more sense to me to, like, if you need to step back, because I've done that. You sometimes just get some thoughts in your head and you're like, this is bullshit, and you have to go, okay, man, we might need to sit with ourselves for a minute to be like, you want to say this, and yes, this might make logical sense in your brain right now, but let's kind of unravel, where did this thought spawn from? Is this a thought of, I'm mad at my partner, or I'm mad at my kid, or whatever? Are you saying this from a space of, for example, my point is, are you saying this from a space of insecurity? Are you saying this from a space of ego? Are you saying this from a space of whatever?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
More times than not, you are. You just don't know it yet. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, you're not engaging in this for the sake of, I want to understand you better. You did, and I think, shit, niggas do that. Like, you,
most definitely,
because you be like, okay, I'm gonna get mad because I don't, and that also on the flip side, on your partner, to make it a safe space to go, bro, I'm mad about this because I feel I feel insecure, but I don't have the space to go, I feel insecure about A, B, and C, but I don't really feel comfortable saying that, because when I say this, when I give you my perspective, I don't think people sometimes understand that, like, if you were to go, you know, A, B, and C happened, and the first response somebody has is to tell you, well, maybe you didn't interact with that properly. Maybe you didn't see that. Did you ever think? And I'm like, okay. Like, yes, I'm super big on looking at you. That's literally my, like, field of study. But there is something to be said about minimizing somebody's experience. Like that post you sent and that we reposted of the therapist dude. I'm gonna remember a bro's name at some point.
Kier.
There we go. He was sitting there, and I thought one of the best parts of that post was what he was saying was dope. But I looked at his wife, and she was sitting there, and the first thing she says was, "What did he mean by that?" And, like, I feel like people sleep on how much that spoke wonders, because it's like she's not interrogating, she's not walking into this with the sentiment of, I want to jump on your friend for saying something about women. She's like, well, where is he coming from with that? Already validating what he feels. Like, he might have a point, he might be right, his perspective might be whatever, but if I'm taking into account that he's going through A, B, and C, okay, I understand where you would get that from. I understand that these experiences have happened. Now, if my goal is to go, I want to stand up for black women, like, we're all not pieces of shit, well, then I go, I understand that these experiences have happened, I understand that these women exist, but understand that this, and this. I validated you. I understand you. What you're saying is not wrong. You have a perspective. Let me show you another side so we can kind of heal you. And on the flip side, when you see these conversations of relationships, whatever, with people, it's always a lot of, what about what you did? Did you think about, well, now, nigga, y'all not communicating. Y'all are debating. People are like, I'm communicating. We had a difference of opinion. You niggas are at battle. Like, you niggas just, I don't like what you said. Now, I might present it in whatever fucking way, you know, my dainty voice, my professional. Well, ma'am, you guys are going at war, bro. You want to one up this person. You're not looking to understand their experience. And I don't know, that minimizes the complexities of people, period. Because it's like, ain't no real black and white of this shit. Like, spectrum is the word, shades of gray is the fucking thing. Like, I don't know, man. Y'all gotta, all of us. I don't know how you're gonna
all of
it.
us. And I mean, for me, and I do this even in therapy with clients, helping them understand different perspectives of what they're struggling through, or what's causing them some sort of grief. If you're not approaching something with the ability to understand, and you're not asking questions, you're not communicating. To me, the question is the most important part of communication. Aside from nonverbal and cues and pitch and all that other stuff, if you're not asking questions, you're not communicating.
I would add asking questions and still understanding, wow, man, I'm really, really just fucking telling them, like, what the fuck I'm fucking believe in. Where your question is coming from. Because there's one thing of questioning, like, I want to really understand this, and there's another side of, I'm questioning to interrogate. I'm questioning to, you know, niggas do that. Niggas will do that. Okay. So if the motherfucker was playing ball, and if he was doing this, so if he can dribble, you not really trying to understand bro's perspective on why he thinks fucking Steph Curry is a better player. You're trying to question, to poke holes in his argument. And motherfuckers, I think, sometimes do that in relationships or in conversations with people that might be, you know, a little more emotionally charged and shit. And it's like, understand, are you really asking questions for a better understanding on this person's experience so that you can go, you know what? If your end goal is to go, you know what, that makes sense, I understand. But if you're looking for it to go, fucking got him. Well, what about this? Because you didn't look at this, this, and this. Well, now, man, you just went through that whole scenario.
It's a debate now.
Yeah, you went through that to find a little space to blow it up. You were looking for, you know, you did I don't want to talk about him now because I realized that The Inhumans was such a shit show. But Karnak, you know, like, his main power is, like, he don't got no real powers, but he can find the weakness in the thing. I don't give a fuck if it's one screw. And it's like, you were doing that the whole time. You didn't listen. You were listening to respond.
You were trying to be correct.
Yes.
I want you to secede unto my perspective and say that my perspective is right. The only reason I'm having this conversation with you is to say that I'm right. Okay. Even if you are right, what is the solution, though? For you, selfishly, the solution is you agreeing with me to validate my bullshit, basically. That's not communication, though. You're not trying to. What did you understand? You didn't understand shit.
I even have it from personal example. I've done it. I've watched you do it. We're even working in, say, and everybody always, whenever I say, like, you know, we used to work with, you know, with at-risk youth. Like, how did you get in this and not whatever? Sorry, that's another rant. Like, what are you talking about? What the fuck is what you? Anyways,
y'all birthed them and didn't take care of them.
Y'all birthed them, or one you sitting in here with me talking about you really love this field, but you didn't really get. Nigga, I've been in the trenches, but anyway,
got it out the mud.
Really, but there were times that, like, legitimately, me or DC, as when I say him, though, I mean verbally. I'm sitting here and I'm fucking laying into this motherfucker for an hour because he did whatever the fuck at school, whatever this, that, and the third, and that kind of goes back to energy and understanding. Nigga, you know full well that I'm not jumping on you, not for me,
right?
Because I'm gonna get paid regardless. If you leave, if you get locked up, whatever, like. If you go to a higher level, like I'm good. You can literally feel like, damn, this motherfucker is legit. Why did you do that? Why, if we told you to boom, 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 why? This person is literally doing this to understand and to better my experience. This has fuck all to do with him. So that, because even, talking about tone, I know everybody be like, I'm loud or I'm aggressive. I've presented aggressive, so I understand that. But there is something to be said about, I can smell that you're doing this not for you. Not for ego, not for, I want my kid to look like a nice, to be the kid I want my kid to be. I legitimately just want my child to be whatever. That's how you can talk reckless to this motherfucker, because you're not doing this because me, my ego, my pride, my whatever. Your vibe is, I want you to be the best version of you. I don't give a fuck if you become a goddamn doctor or if you become a motherfucker who pick up trash on the side of the road. I want you to be the best version of you, and what you're doing, that doesn't correlate to that. And I'm legitimately pouring all of this into you. If you can feel that, that's why I'm asking the question. That's why I'm on your ass, because I sincerely. So if you can do that to fucking stranger kids, why the fuck can't people do that to, say, your partner or your own kids or your fucking family members? I always say partner because relationships is what niggas love to talk about. So
here's a I don't want to say a parallel, but here's a perspective. For us, or those that work within the certain fields that we work in, where we're servicing people, nonprofits, things of that nature, we can do it within that space because we have absolutely nothing to gain. I'm getting paid regardless. That's why I'm here. I'm here to get paid, for the most part, to take care of my bills, but I'm also here to affect some sort of change in a positive way. Mm-hmm. That's my motivation. The only thing I want to get out of this is to know that I've affected you in some positive way because I care. So I'm willing to do this. I'm able to do this. I'm able to have some discernment and understand how to maneuver. When you talk about relationships, though, and I use that term loosely because any interaction you have with somebody is a relationship. Relationship is not a word that's used for a monogamous connection or commitment. Just so you guys know, like, if you didn't know that, like, the word relationship, like, we have a relationship with podcasting. Like, we're on podcasts. We have a relationship with podcasting. We have a relationship with this radio station and the other people that are on it. Like, this relationship, just to let you guys know. But when it comes to relationships, you have a lot more of an open window for selfishness to creep in, because I'm trying to get something out of this. I'm not doing this for your betterment. I'm not doing this because I care about you or the situation. I'm doing this for some sort of validation.
Does that undermine the whole unconditional love thing?
We have that. I didn't know that people in today's society understood what it means to have unconditional love. I thought that was like the black unicorn.
Yeah, I know the defense of that is always like people saying, and it's an easy defense, and yes, it exists, but always like somehow using that as nobody's saying you to get dog walked or just fucking abused, but people use that as like the hardship of something as a way to like bounce out, and it's like sometimes
deflecting.
Yeah, it is deflection, because in the hardship is how this relationship, and also that's how you, once again, your lens, how you view relationship. This is something, we go through the hard times. People just think it's like something cool to say, but it's like these hard times are what adjust your perspective. And if you're viewing this as in, I want to stay in a relationship and I want to be exactly as I am here, but understanding that like change is sometimes a painful process, this individual is the thing that will be your conduit to change. But, that's my little fucking zen shit for today. Did you hear the tone of voice? Well, that was sexy as shit. But actually, piggybacking off that, like, speaking of relationships, posted it on the page. Moneybag was on the Breakfast Club, and there was his conversation about therapy, and which is concerning because like, where is Charlamagne? Charlamagne's like really like, bro, fucking go. And he's like,
I don't really need no therapy, know what I'm saying? Like,
so I saw that clip, but the next clip that people were like really happy about on Shade Room, which is fine, is him talking about communication is key. And people always say that, but as we're having a conversation now, I'm like, do y'all understand what that means? What is communication? Because some of that is not communication, it's attention. And that is not trying to just justify never talking to your partner. I don't talk to you for 6 months. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is people need to adjust and understand the why. Why do you think this is the best form? Because what he just talked about is, you know, me and our communication is key. I'm in the studio. I'm in the club. I'm into this. I'm into that. That's not really communication. To parallel that, you have Amon Shumpert, which I know this shit came out probably forever ago. Amon Shumpert and Tiana. And talk about vibes, talk about, I don't know these niggas. I don't know their life. They could be at home fucking stabbing each other every night. But they present.
Well, somebody getting stabbed. Lucky bastard. You lucky motherfucker.
Ducking on that motherfucker.
Tomahawk.
But they always present like, yo, these motherfuckers like really, really love each other. Like they really like this. Once this is my motherfucking dog, I'm gonna never get off. I'm gonna die on that hill for the rest of my life probably. But he expressed, and he just be sounding like, and I saw him on like fucking. He wasn't even talking about her. I don't remember. I didn't watch the whole thing. But he was on the 85 South show. But his whole vibe is like, yeah, like, you know, like I love her. That's really my friend. That's really my dog. And he's like, they live busy lives and they live this, you know, everybody's out getting in your own way. But he's like, yeah, like we communicate, but it's like, I'm not on you all day. What you doing? Like, you know, and they don't have, I don't think always a situation where I'm coming home every night. We have moments where we have that, but there's times I'm on the road for a game. There's times where, and I'm sure the communication is probably up then, but his whole fucking thing was, I'm not on your head all day. We are secure in ourselves. We are secure in each other. Go live your life, grow yourself, and then bring that back to me so we can now take our personal experiences and whoosh and grow and become one and whatever. And that just sounds like a secure thing. That sounds also, we can communicate physically. We can communicate that like there's other ways to just like that specific way that people talk about like Ari and Moneybag can be attention. And I think people should learn how to do that, like to learn how to just ask yourself these questions like, do you want to communicate with this person? Because sometimes people talk about, you know, we text every day but you really just talking at this person. I did this, I did this, I did that. If you look at a Moneybag and Ari's conversation, for example, let's say Moneybag is just talking about, I did this, I did that, but he never asks her like, so what did you do? Like, how did that, how did that make you feel? Sound like real fucking Freudian. But yeah, it's just like y'all are talking at each other just so I can have attention. I want to make sure, and that's fine if you need. But shit, sometimes I feel like it's a better communication move to go, look, man, I'm feeling insecure. I'm feeling whatever. I just need you to give me some attention right now. Cool. We could just fucking play a game. We could do whatever. We could talk. We could text, but don't say this is communication, because sometimes I feel like you people aren't having deep conversations either, because you're not having the things that like you. It's just like a lot of. What's that shit? What's a good analogy? The fucking 3 pigs, nigga. Like, it's probably a billion sticks of hay to make that first house. It's only like 127 bricks to build the fucking last house. So it's not quantity. It's like, what is the quality of things? So if you want 400 million bricks, cool. If y'all having 400 million in-depth conversations about real shit, cool. But because y'all not like, what you doing? How you doing? What you feeling? That's, just attention and communication are also not the same thing. That's the point. That was really verbose, but y'all fucking, I don't care.
I mean, even sticking with the, say, 3 pigs analogy, 3 different individuals having 3 different approaches to one situation, and you find out the first time what you need to work your parameters around. Mm-hmm. He's coming in, blowing shit over. We went from fucking from hay to twigs. Like, does that really help? Shouldn't we find something that, like, can stand up to win? I know we're trying to think on the fly here, but let's take a second and let's really like communicate and figure out. I'm thinking twigs. Does twigs work? Like he's like that nigga's got a lot of capacity within his lungs. He's Superman status, blowing stuff over. Do you think twigs are going to work? Like really? Do you think twigs? No? Yeah? No, I don't think they are. So should we just go straight to the bricks? Like, you could have cut out the middleman and made this parable or this story a whole lot smaller. Side note, when it comes to the money bag situation, the man said, I don't need therapy. I automatically, when he started talking about communication, I was like, he doesn't know what communication is. That's one. Two, it's fucking money bag. I know your track record of the women you've dated. They don't fucking know what communication is either. So I know that you don't know. Not to say that he hasn't grown, because I'm sure he's grown within that space, but I know that you don't understand it. I think a lot of people, and that's my third point, anything on social media that thousands of people are agreeing with, I feel like it's wrong automatically. Because we don't know, we as a society are in so much disarray, we don't know what's right.
Not a group thing.
It's a whole lot of cultish mentality when it comes to stuff. So people are like, yeah, he's talking about communication. Like, no, he's not. He's talking about fitting the appeasement of an insecure individual that needs to know where I am all the time. Mm-hmm. I'm validating to you that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You're not. Are you trying to know what I'm doing, or are you trying to make sure I'm okay? Kind of like what we've discussed. Like, what is your intent for me checking in with you this often? What is it that you really need to know? What am I really trying to communicate with or about? Oh, she has an insecurity in this realm. So I'm just, hey, I'm letting you know that I'm here. Hey, I'm letting you know that I'm here. I'm showing that I'm caring, but really I'm not challenging you to understand how to communicate better. I'm just coming over to where you are in this unhealthy space, and I'm dwelling within it with you. That means neither one of us understand what's necessary. Neither one of us understand proper communication. It can work for that moment, but shit's going to fall apart. The big bad wolf is going to come and blow this bitch down because you didn't pay attention to what you were doing effectively the first time.
I think that turns into situations where, you gotta get in touch with self. You do, but you have to really communicate with yourself. Like, get to it. You feeling it? Let them have it.
Come here. Okay. Come here. Mm-hmm. Come here. Give me your eyes. Those two things on the front of your fucking face.
Or the ears, if you're not watching this.
Look, they have to work together. When it comes to getting in tune with self, right? That's a great thing. Here's my problem with it. If you're not getting in tune with self to challenge self, make self uncomfortable, and hold self accountable to self's bullshit, you're not getting in touch with self. You're just finding out how to give yourself the shit that you like. That's not what life is about. So frick you and getting in touch with self, because you're not communicating with yourself effectively. You're communicating with your insecurities and how to appease them. Don't appease your insecurities. Challenge the motherfuckers to get up and get out. Either you gonna stay here and pay rent, or you gonna leave. What you gonna do? But to dwell in this house, you gotta contribute something positively, not something negatively. Y'all letting y'all insecurities basically be the proverbial ain't shit baby daddy that's just here playing the video game all day and ain't contributing. You're fucking up the flow of the household, bro. You need to do something to help out here.
Bro Chacho.
Bro Chacho.
Bro Leany.
Bro Ham.
But that kind of was perfect. That was it in a nutshell. And this is, I always feel like you have to, you don't have to defend against these people because fucking weirdos is weirdos. But, people's always first, well, what is you doing that? Of course. And I'm fucking up along the way like everybody else. But the concept is you have to be aware. Even if you, and I'm saying this is just because you're aware of it doesn't mean that you fucking mastered it. But if you can literally go, like just using this Ari and money bag thing for example, let's say we're 100% right. They could be just fucking having great communication. Nobody fucking knows. But for the sake of argument, we're going to do this. Let's say it is just complete insecurity. I feel like it's a better route and journey towards sincere progress to go, man, nigga, I'm just in an insecure space and I want to talk to you to know where you at so I can feel like you give a fuck about me. And that nigga can go, you know what? That was really honest. Like, I can do that. And now we have this shit out in the air so we can kind of start working on it. And now you got a real fucking partner to kind of hold you accountable. Can't do it for you. Be like, hey, are we talking to talk, or are you just kind of feeling insecure? And you go, yeah, I'm feeling insecure. I'm feeling I need to be fucking needed. And now you can start to really unravel, which would help a lot better when you go to therapy. But if you just want to kind of fucking feel it out on your own until you just run out of tools, then you go to therapy to find more tools. You can eventually still do it by yourself because it's whatever. Sorry.
They need you can express it. It's okay.
You know, you just start to kind of unravel, like, I'm insecure because of this. I fucking learned something about myself that I didn't even know that this was an insecurity. And I also didn't know that this insecurity stemmed from this, and this. But I'm just enacting in this behavior and fucking doubling down on it and finding every which way to go to try to turn it into something healthy. And it might not be. That does not mean that I'm trying to tell you motherfuckers to fucking send fucking carrier pigeons to your fucking husband and talk to the nigga every 8 months. And, you know, like, no, like, y'all motherfuckers can have active fucking continuous communication, but it's about you. If the first thought when a motherfucker says something about this group, women, men, whatever, your first thought is, what about y'all? You've completely fucking dismissed the other side. It's a fucking 2-part deal. So if a motherfucker says something about A, B, and C, and your first, well, what about fuck that? That's not the conversation right at this moment. God damn it, get a motherfucker 10 seconds to go, you know what? That has a point. Because to bring it back to communication, if the idea of communication is to be understood and understand the other side that you love, care about, like, whatever, even your fucking job, which you might just kind of endure, to understand, you have to pull your head out of your own ass. Like, you have to go, oh, that's what you meant. I understand that you meant it from that perspective. Actually, if I'm looking at it from that perspective, it makes fucking 100% sense.
Right.
Like, I'm not even engaging you in a way of, like, you're a fucking piece of shit or you're a fucking dummy or you're an ass or whatever. It's like, oh, you did it like that because of all these factors. Actually, that makes sense. To be honest, you really did better than, you know, you would have. I'm completely speaking from a space of dealing with, like, fucking at risk and fucking other, because it's like, yeah, bro, you did cuss somebody out and take a walk. But from your background, you used, like, 6 months ago, you would have took this chair, smacked this motherfucker, tore the TV down, and tried to stab us. So really, you did a really great thing, and you're progressing. I understand where you're coming from. I understand your journey. Now, I understand how to build and grow you better. If I'm choosing to commit with you and fucking grow you to be better, it's not you just be the fuck what I need right now, because that's completely selfish space. And
yeah, if you're within a conversation with somebody, and I'm using that term loosely, if you're conversing with someone and you can't find something that you can agree with or understand from their perspective within the conversation, you're not really having communication. I don't care how crazy the conversation is. Like, I've used this example before on the show, like when Trump was running, not a Trump supporter at all could give a shit about Make America Great Again and that whole little movement. But it's like certain things they would say, I was like, I can understand what you're trying to get at here. You're doing it in a very shit way, and you might not be backing it up in the way that you need to back it up to really substantiate your claim in an accurate way. But I get what you're trying to say. I can understand it. If you can't do that with every single type of communication that you are approaching, you're not communicating. You're either just like autopilot. It's my turn to speak. Okay, and this is how I feel. Like, it's yeah. Just please, if you're going to understand, try to find something that you can agree with. Try to interpret it in a way that you can make sense and ask questions. Sidebar, speaking of asking questions, complete old man who gives all fucks about who's famous in celebrity business and all that other shit. I know we've been talking about Moneybag and Ari. Are we talking about Ari Lennox? He's dating Ari Lennox?
Absolutely not.
Oh, I was about to say, holy shit, that is night and day. Okay, I had to ask because I don't know 100%. I don't know. I don't know these people's lives. I don't know who they date. I don't care.
I don't remember her last name, but she used to fuck. I don't remember, but she was like a rapper's woman, and then like, and then she's
staying within her choice.
Yeah,
her
stereotypical
famous
choices on the
choices.
internet, and I know there's just a lot of stuff behind her. And then
Okay, you kept saying I was like, if I swear for God, if it's Ari Lennox, Lord, have my hey, come here. Don't you got a son? What's wrong with you?
hilarious.
Did you learn from your past mistakes? I just had to make sure. I'm sorry. Like I said, I don't know these celebrities' lives. I don't be giving a fuck what they really going through. I'm just using it for context to create some sort of understanding within conversation. It kept ringing in my mind. I know he's not talking about Ari Lennox.
Nah.
Absolutely. Just that wouldn't even make no goddamn sense. But yes, imperfections, people. Yes, we are content creators, and no, I don't know all the tea because I don't give a fuck about tea. Unless it's herbal tea in the morning to get your body going. That's the only tea I care about. All the other stuff, I give a rat's ass who's dating who. I'm like it just because it helps us talk about all the stupid shit that y'all gravitate towards. But it's funny to me. I enjoy it. It's entertainment, and it gives me the ability to come and talk to you guys on these lovely days when we're recording, and sprinkle a little seasoning on your ears, make them crispy.
I don't be into it all the time. Sometimes, some shit's funny, some shit's entertaining. I'm not always just like Captain fucking, Zen. Like, I'm not. But I do pay attention to, and I guess that's sometimes where I feel like old, where I just be like, damn, this shit has so much influence on how we interact with one another. Like, we don't take, and understand. All of this shit connects. Like, if you understand this effect, you can kind of use that and apply that concept to yourself. Where are you getting these ideas and views and shit from? Because it's like, man, these people are already like in a super whatever toxic level, but we're using this fucking clip to justify some shit that they do. But it's like, you're not understanding the perspective this person's coming from. That whole shit is trash, and it's put together very, very eloquently. It sounds whatever, but that shit is codependent. That shit is narcissistic. That shit is hella toxic. That shit is not
okay.
Yeah, and that is, those are things are not always synonymous with genuine, true love. And it's, we talked about that like last week. When you look at these motherfuckers who have really been married, if just for that to be like the epicenter of like love. These motherfuckers were like, I've known this motherfucker like, and not just the title of marriage, but I've been down with a motherfucker for like 50 years. Like, motherfuckers, like, I'm like, I just don't feel like y'all are not understanding the gravity. And that doesn't mean don't chase it. That means go for it, but understand what the fuck you doing. I know after we've talked about like the Ossie Davis and Ruby D thing, talking to fucking Will and Jada, it's like 17 years, you don't know this motherfucker, bro. Which is cool. Because now if you look at you Gary V the bitch. If you Gary V like, look, man, like, this shit is, we're playing the 70-year game. You niggas is playing the what you've been doing the last 2 years game, and it's not even comparable. Like, and you aren't taking, these opportunities to really like, you just got to do the work. Okay, well, let's sit down and examine what the work is. Are you doing the work? Are you sitting down? Challenging beliefs works at goddamn literally every level of fucking, like, that shit works from your diet to where, like, I used to love just eating fucking fried chicken every day, to now you go home and cook your fucking meals and meal plan because you challenge your belief on what's a good meal, what's good food, what's real shit, what's whatever. All the way up to, well, let me think about relationships, how I view relationships, why I view them like that. Where did that fucking come from? Oh, that came from somebody I loved, and that was great, and I loved them to death. But let's look at their past. Let's look at their history. Let's look at their era. Let's look at their fucking viewpoints. Like, niggas don't get in here and be like, fuck this shit. Let's just swing our dicks in the street. Nah.
Depending on who you ask, they tell you otherwise.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, man. But to me, that is also indicative of you don't do enough self work. I can't say don't do any. That's super absolute. That's really fucked up. But to listen even to this or to other fucking platforms, because I've got in here personally and gave bro fucking a 1-star review. Listening to Kevin Samuels, everybody, all right, put your fucking swords down. Put your swords down real quick.
Yes.
I listened to him on the Joe Budden podcast. Please put your gun away. Ma'am, put your gun away. Let me finish.
Put your goddamn.
Okay, I listened to Kevin Samuels on the Joe Budden podcast, and I understand, but 2 negatives kind of made a positive if you listen to the fucking thing in its entirety. Absolutely came out the fucking gate with the same whatever rhetoric. Even though, if you're looking at it from what he explained, he's like, I'm not always getting into the super spiritual shit. I'm going at just the literal facts on paper, which on the flip side is what happens to men. If I'm not making enough, and if I'm 5'4", like, I'm like, DC is 6'4". He's in a, but I literally like just made it to the class. So like, but if you're a 5'4" nigga and you work at fucking FedEx, you got a really good job, nigga. Like, it's not fancy, it's not flashy. You got the stupid ass uniform and you drive this box all day. But if you're that dude and you're a short nigga, you got it tough out here. So he, comes out and says, like, that's just it on paper. Also, he explains that people are coming and using my content for them, and women are talking about, like, they're completely blowing past a nigga who makes $75,000 a year because they're going for Mr. 500,000, who is the fucking celebrity nigga who's living a life that doesn't make sense. It's not like they get to live better, different life. They're living warped lives, to be completely honest with you. But he kind of, which is what I've been kind of saying, like, he finally, like, expounded upon, like, and his views on, he's like, men need to work. You cannot be out here saying, he's like, he jumped on niggas. Like, you cannot be out here a high value man being a fucking poop butt ass nigga. Like you need to bring your shit to, you need to bring yourself, you need to be an amazing dude. Basically, and it's, he was like, my whole stance is like, you can't want something for nothing. He even talked about communication and respect, and motherfuckers are saying, I want this and want that, but you're being disrespectful. So all I'm saying is, you could still say fuck the nigga. I'm not here to campaign for it, but what I'm here for is, if you want to understand, if you have things like that, you should do what I kind of did. Because I had my little gripes with bro, but he was making sense when you listen to it in its totality. It is a lot of, I want our people to grow. I'm a 50-plus-year-old man. I lived through A, B, and C from the black community. I saw us go from here, and now we here. And I'm like, okay, well, when you put it like that, it makes some of his rhetoric understandable.
Right. When you're looking for content, bypass the content if you don't understand the context. Context is what's important. Context is what's going to help you better understand. Just like nonverbal communication within a conversation is context. It's additional information to help you really get what's going on. Sidebar with your peeves with bro, it's different than the average person's peeve with him. Most people may not like him because I'm reactionary, and I don't like how he said that. No, okay, you're approaching Thanos. You're approaching Thanos not to see what's going on with the gems in the gauntlet. You're trying to ask him why he's purple.
Yeah.
Like, you're missing the entire point of my being here. I'm about to snap my fingers and get half you motherfuckers to fuck up out of here. And you're asking me why I'm purple. Bitch, I'm from space. You're asking the wrong questions here. It doesn't make sense. But I think that's how a lot of people approach Kevin Samuels.
Bitch, I'm from space is funny as fuck.
They're not paying attention. Your peeve with him is like, from a therapeutic standpoint, like, you missed that. That's a good place to dive into there. Oh, that's a good place to like expand on that. Talk a little bit more. Provide more content. Like, we have a different reason why we may look at Buddy and be like.
But also, he says some shit that I had to relate to. He's like, people go to my content and look for what they're looking for.
Right.
He's like,
they want something to react to.
Yeah, he's like, my clips go viral. But he's like, out of those clips, motherfuckers don't watch the 2-hour episode that came from.
Kind of like what you fuckers do with us. You guys see a random clip about some shit on Instagram and you miss the entire message that we've been talking about for an hour.
The flip side is like, I've posted us just posting saying the fucking like the Zen shit, the shit that's therapeutic, and sometimes it hits, but it's like the other bullshit is what motherfucker. I'm like, I'm trying to get views too, man. I'm trying to like grow. So it's like,
right.
If y'all was like, yo, we really love the fucking whatever, like now we're gonna stop saying it, but I guess post that more because motherfuckers just, but to his fucking credit, it's like people are gonna go and find what they want because they're going to you to be like, this motherfucker says this, so I'm gonna go look for the things. Okay, for instance, nobody does this, like, just for situationally, like, I had to practice that, and sometimes I take not that I'm some fucking like I went in the fucking Raiden cave and fucking learned how to do my fucking Zen shit all the time, but it is a practice effort, whether it be the field and also just personally, like, I'm kind of into just like, you want to learn, you want to be your best self, all that shit motherfuckers be talking about. But when like just this past thing with the Chauvin case, right? I know Ben Shapiro is fucking Ben Shapiro, but in order to just fully go fuck this nigga, I listened to his take like on the little. This was just a little Snapchat thing, but just for the simple fact of, if I'm gonna completely I want my view justified. I don't want to be sitting up here, going fuck this motherfucker. And it's like, well, did you listen? Did you read? Did you whatever? Because personally, I don't like that. That's a huge trigger for me to go, I said this, and somebody goes, no, you didn't. Well, you didn't listen. Like, did you listen to this, and this? You're not listening. You're not communicating. All the shit we've talked about today. So when Kevin Samuel said that, it's like, yeah, bro, you can hate me, but hate me for real. Like, don't come in here and find the thing that justifies, because you're coming here to hate me. And you're also, once again, for just to double down on the communication thing, you're not communicating with yourself, because you're not going, am I going into this to fuck with this motherfucker, or am I going in here to look for something to confirm my bias, or am I going into this to go, they're saying a perspective, I need to understand this perspective. Maybe they're saying something I don't agree with. Maybe I don't agree with it because I'm fucking wrong. But I don't know that if I'm not in the right space to fucking know that, to try that, to fucking, like, what's wrong with y'all, man? Y'all grown. Y'all really smart people, man. I want y'all to be so fucking much fucking better. We would be better. This correlates to everything. If niggas could do this in mass, we would link up and goddamn, we need to grow food and whatever the fuck you niggas be screaming about on the internet. Like,
a whole lot of nothing. You're a lot nicer than me. I know it's weird for the therapist to say, something negative
it's really
to y'all.
not.
But y'all stupid. I don't care what he talking about. You're stupid. But you're not stupid because you lack the ability. You're stupid because you're not giving yourself the ability to utilize your full capacity.
That's the therapist. He did it. That's it. Like, he started out like he was just gonna swing Shao Kahn's hammer, but
no, I need to just it's a lot of us that we're not using our full 20%. We're at like 5.
But motherfuckers is doing that shit because, and I do that now. I don't know how else we can get. I don't know how much more vulnerable we can get on this show. But it'd be like, I have sat. This is why you need to have conversations with yourself, and you just start. You don't even have to be a trained professional. Just start asking questions. I don't like that, and just sometimes go, hey man, why don't you like that? Well, I don't like that because it makes you feel like this. Why does it make you feel like this? Well, it makes you feel like this because when I think about that, it makes me think about boom, boom, boom. Okay, so does that have something to do with that person, or is that your own, perception? That's your own memory that you might be attached to it, or whatever experience. Well, I'm definitely attaching that to this.
You are exceptionally hopeful for people.
I want y'all, because you
has hope for humanity.
Because you niggas sit up here and can tell me, fucking this Ari woman, you motherfuckers can tell me about in 2017 when she was doing whatever the fuck she was doing. Like, you niggas can talk about how fucking where the baby got his motherfucking hair twisted. Like, you motherfuckers do all this goddamn goofy ass shit. It's a bitch online that know exactly where Meg is right now and how many times you twerked her motherfucking ass. And I sound like my motherfucking mom in the car. If you knew the goddamn math where you knew them songs, and it's true. Like, what the fuck? You niggas is grown. And be sitting up here with these motherfucking 7-page memos about when you know your worth. You know what the fuck you talking about, bro. You know your narcissism. You don't even fucking know that.
You don't even know that.
Fuck, man. You niggas up here, a real man going, what are you talking about, bro? You work at Wendy's.
What is your purpose for saying that? Like we said earlier, you're saying that because you want to seem a certain way to people to make yourself get a little bit more attention and notoriety. You ain't saying it because you really understand what the fuck that means. He's nice. He'll tell you to have these conversations with yourself. I'm not nice like boss. You're stupid. Have a conversation with somebody that's trained so you can unlock the ability to have better conversations with yourself, because right now you ain't got it. You've been having conversations with yourself and you keep failing because you don't know what questions to ask. Not even that, but you're not going to even be vulnerable and honest enough with yourself to answer them properly. So seek help and let somebody else help you, get you better, and then you can go off and do it on your own. That's what therapy's for.
All they want to do is see you fall, to see you break down, but you got to rise. Hug your son, Jeremy. God damn, that's all the fuck she asked. Hug this goddamn boy, motherfucker. Jesus, she didn't trap you. You was sitting up there singing Sweet Nothings, loving in her motherfucking ear, eating breakfast and shit, and now you just like, fuck, man.
The only times people are sitting around waiting for you to fall is winter time somewhere where it snows in the student center. That's the only time I'm going to sit around and wait for somebody to come in and fall. That is the only time. Whether it's raining or whether it's snowing, somewhere in Ohio at Kent State University, I sit in there at the top of the steps and wait to see who's going to come in, trying to be cute when it's snowing and slippery outside in some fucking hills because we have a really good fashion program, and watch you slip and bust your ass. That's the only time I'm waiting for you to fall. Man. Other than that, somebody's trying to help you be more accountable, and you don't want to be accountable, so you think they're hating on you because you're stupid. Seek help. That's what therapy is for. That's why we have therapists. I know that's kind of an abrasive way to let you know, like, therapy is okay, but it's necessary. Don't be like Moneybag Yo. Don't let the cup in the bottle be your therapy. It's the worst kinds.
Y'all want love, man. Y'all want to feel how this song feels. But buddy, it's love. This is the shit, niggas. This is what everybody looking for. Whatever fucking way you looking for it, and you motherfuckers feel like you deserve to get this fucking amazing, and you don't want to fucking do no work. You don't want to fucking go, God damn, nigga. Like, niggas be like, I'm a fucking 4-star recruit going to the whatever. That's because that nigga was up at 5 a.m. in high school with AP classes, fucking trying to get it in on the field. And that's why he deserves to be a motherfucking top star recruit, and he's getting millions of dollars in the league. You motherfuckers don't even want to go to practice and think you finna get to the fucking Super Bowl. Of like, go away.
Not even that, but seeking help, because it was his daddy that was getting him up that goddamn early to let him know this what the fuck you got to do to sacrifice and get to a certain point. You don't even understand what it takes with your dog ass.
I'm gonna let this shit wash over me, and I don't know. I'm trying to get to mine. I want you to get to yours. And
I want you to get to yours too, but don't talk about me what you deserve if you're not gonna be like Tank and say maybe I deserve the fucked up shit that happened to me because I wasn't doing what I was supposed to. If that's not the way that you're communicating to yourself about what you deserve, then you don't deserve what you're asking for. Kiss my ass. Love you guys. See you guys on Monday.
I'm gonna leave on this. I want y'all to just try, like one time, just to try, like whatever situation you mad at, approach it as if it's all your fault. You can kind of cut away logically the shit that's not your fault, and not that shit of like it was my fucking stupid decision fucking with the bitch. No. Just approach it like, damn, what the fuck did I do to fuck this up, and let me amend those pieces. Then you might get, I swear, just fucking try it. Just, god damn it, just try it. Okay, bye, I love you.